Welcome to EnglishVerse, where every conversation helps you speak English with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EnglishVerse.
We're really happy you're here today, but before we begin, we have a small request.
Please don't play this podcast like background music. Listen carefully, repeat our sentences if you can, and try to think in English while you're listening.
Even if you understand only 70 or 80% today, that's completely okay. Every conversation you listen to makes your English a little stronger.
And today, we're talking about something that everyone experiences at some point in life.
How to stay positive during hard times.
Before we start, let me ask you one question. Have you ever smiled in front of everyone while secretly feeling exhausted inside?
Or maybe you've told someone, "I'm fine," even though you weren't fine at all.
If your answer is yes, then today's conversation is for you.
Stay with us until the end, because the last lesson in this podcast is something many people discover only after years of struggle.
So, Daniel, let me ask you something. Have you ever reached a point where everything seemed to go wrong at the same time?
Oh, absolutely. I think almost everyone has experienced that feeling. Sometimes one problem comes, then another, and another. Before you know it, you start wondering, why is this happening to me?
I remember a time when I felt exactly like that. Nothing dramatic happened overnight. It was just one small disappointment after another. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't enjoying the things I loved. Even simple tasks felt difficult. And the strange part was, from the outside, everything looked completely normal.
That's something many people don't talk about. Not every battle is visible. Some of the hardest battles happen quietly inside our minds.
Exactly. One day I looked in the mirror and asked myself, when did I stop feeling happy? That question stayed with me for days.
And do you know what's interesting? Many people think positive people never feel sad, but that's one of the biggest misconceptions.
Really?
Absolutely. Positive people feel sadness, they feel fear, they feel disappointment. The difference is they don't allow those feelings to become permanent.
That's such an important distinction. Being positive doesn't mean pretending that life is perfect. It means believing that difficult moments are temporary.
Exactly. Think about the weather. Some days are bright and sunny, other days are full of rain and dark clouds, but no storm lasts forever.
I love that example. Feelings are very similar. No emotion stays forever. Happiness changes, sadness changes, fear changes. Everything changes.
Yet when we're having a difficult day, our mind tries to convince us that nothing will ever improve.
Yes, it's almost like our brain whispers, "This is your life now."
But here's something most people never realize. Your brain isn't trying to make you unhappy, it's trying to protect you. Thousands of years ago, humans survived because they noticed danger quickly. Today, our brains still react the same way. They focus on problems before possibilities.
So we're naturally programmed to notice negative things first.
Exactly. That's why staying positive isn't something you're born with, it's a skill, and every skill can be developed.
That's actually comforting because it means anyone can become mentally stronger.
Absolutely. Not overnight, but little by little, day by day.
Let me tell you a short story. A few years ago, I met an elderly man in a small park. He was smiling while feeding birds. I asked him, "You always look so peaceful. What's your secret?" He smiled and said something I'll never forget. Every morning, life gives me two choices. I can spend my energy worrying about what I cannot control, or I can spend my energy improving what I can control.
Wow, that's simple, but incredibly powerful.
At first, I thought it was just a nice quote, but later I realized he wasn't talking about happiness, he was talking about responsibility.
That's a profound idea. Many people wait for life to become easier before they decide to be happy, but sometimes life becomes easier because we change the way we think.
Exactly. And that's where today's conversation really begins, because in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about one habit that silently destroys positivity. Almost everyone does it. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. And once you understand it, you may never look at difficult situations the same way again.
So don't go anywhere. The next part could completely change the way you respond to stress, failure, and uncertainty. Let's continue. Before we continue, I want everyone listening to do something. Don't say the answer out loud, just answer it honestly in your mind. When something goes wrong, what's the very first thing you say to yourself?
That's an interesting question because the first sentence we tell ourselves often decides how the rest of the day feels.
Exactly. Some people immediately think, I'm not good enough. Others think, I always fail. And some even say, nothing good ever happens to me.
The scary part is, most people don't even notice they're saying these things. It becomes an automatic habit.
And habits are powerful. The words you repeat every day slowly become the voice you believe. Let me tell you about someone I know. His name isn't important, so let's just call him Alex. Alex worked very hard for an important interview. He studied every day. He practiced every question. He imagined receiving the job offer, but he didn't get the job.
That must have been heartbreaking.
It was. For several days, he barely spoke to anyone. Then, one evening, he looked at me and said, maybe I'm just not smart enough.
That's a sentence millions of people say after one failure.
Exactly. So I asked him one simple question. Did one interview decide your entire future? He stayed silent, because deep down, he knew the answer was no.
Isn't it amazing? Sometimes one question can completely change the direction of our thoughts.
A week later, Alex applied for another company, then another, then another. The fourth company hired him. Today, he's leading a successful team.
Imagine if he had stopped after the first rejection. His success would never have happened.
That's why failure isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's just the end of one chapter.
I really like that, because too many people confuse a temporary setback with a permanent defeat.
Exactly. And here's something I'd like everyone listening to remember. Your current situation is a chapter, not the entire book.
If that sentence helped you, remember it. You might need it someday. Daniel, can I ask you another question?
Of course.
Can I ask you another question?
Of course.
Why do difficult times make us overthink so much?
Because uncertainty creates fear. Our minds hate uncertainty. When we don't know what's going to happen, our imagination starts creating worst-case scenarios.
Like thinking, what if everything gets worse?
Exactly. But here's something fascinating. Research shows that many of the things people worry about never actually happen.
So we spend hours suffering because of situations that exist only in our imaginations.
That's right. Someone once said, worry is like sitting in a rocking chair. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't move you forward.
I love that quote. It's so true.
Instead of asking, what if everything goes wrong, try asking, what if everything works out better than I expect?
That's a completely different perspective.
Exactly. Both questions are about the future, but only one gives you hope.
Hope is powerful, not because it removes problems, but because it gives us the courage to face them.
And courage doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you keep moving, even while you're afraid.
I think that's something many people misunderstand. They wait until fear disappears.
But fear may never disappear completely. Confidence grows when you take action despite fear.
That's such an important lesson. Waiting rarely changes your life. Action does.
Let me ask everyone listening another question. When was the last time you gave yourself credit for surviving something difficult? Think about it. You've already overcome challenges before. You've had bad days, disappointments, failures, moments when you thought you couldn't continue. Yet, here you are, still learning, still growing, still listening. That says something about you.
It says you're stronger than you think. Sometimes we become so focused on what's missing that we forget how far we've already come.
Exactly. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply refusing to give up.
And in the next part, we're going to talk about one simple morning habit that steals happiness from millions of people every single day. Most people believe it's completely normal, but once you recognize it, you'll never see it the same way again.
So stay with us, because the next few minutes might completely change the way you look at your own life.
Before we continue, I want everyone listening to imagine something. Close your eyes for just a moment if you're not driving or doing anything that requires your full attention. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. The path is steep, you're tired, your legs hurt, you even think about turning back. But then you look behind you, and suddenly you realize how far you've already come.
I love that image because sometimes we're so focused on how far we still have to go that we forget how much progress we've already made.
Exactly. We're always looking at the next goal, the next challenge, the next dream, but we rarely stop and celebrate the small victories.
And those small victories matter more than people think. Getting out of bed on a difficult day, finishing one task, making one healthy choice, learning 10 new English words. These may seem small, but together they create extraordinary results.
That's something I wish I had learned earlier. I used to believe that success happened overnight. Now I know that's almost never true. Success is usually invisible before it becomes visible.
That's a powerful sentence. People see the result, but they don't see the hundreds of quiet days that created it.
Exactly. Have you ever noticed how people suddenly call someone an overnight success?
Yes, but when you ask about their story, you discover they worked quietly for 5, 10, or even 20 years.
That's why patience is so important. Not exciting, but essential.
Let me tell you about a friend of mine. He wanted to improve his English. On the first day, he was excited. The second week, he started losing motivation. After 1 month, he wanted to quit because he felt he wasn't improving.
That sounds familiar. I think many English learners feel exactly the same way.
They do, but here's what made him different. Instead of studying 3 hours one day and then giving up, he studied just 30 minutes every single day. No excuses, no long breaks, just consistency.
And what happened?
6 months later, people couldn't believe how much he had improved, not because he was naturally talented, but because he refused to stop.
That's an inspiring story. Consistency often beats talent.
Every single time. Talent gives you a good beginning. Consistency gives you an incredible ending.
That's worth remembering, especially during difficult times. Because when life feels overwhelming, we think we need giant solutions, but often we simply need one small positive habit repeated every day.
Exactly. One page, one workout, one prayer, one walk, one conversation, one podcast, one step. Every great journey is built that way.
You know what I find fascinating? The happiest people I know aren't the ones with perfect lives. They're the ones who learn to appreciate imperfect moments.
That's true happiness, not waiting for everything to be perfect, but finding peace while life is still imperfect.
Let me ask you something, Daniel. When you're having a really difficult day, what's the first thing you do?
Honestly, I stopped trying to solve my entire life in one afternoon.
That's a great answer.
Because when we're stressed, our mind tells us, fix everything today. But that's impossible. Instead, I ask myself, what's the next right step? Not the next 100 steps, just the next one.
That makes difficult situations feel much less frightening.
Exactly. Imagine climbing a staircase in complete darkness. You don't need to see every step. You only need enough light for the next one. Life works the same way.
That's a beautiful analogy. Sometimes clarity comes after movement, not before it.
Absolutely. And here's something I've noticed. The people who stay positive during hard times usually have one habit in common. They protect what enters their minds.
What do you mean?
They don't spend all day reading negative news. They don't surround themselves with people who complain constantly. They choose books that inspire them, podcasts that educate them, conversations that encourage them.
Because your environment quietly shapes your mindset.
Exactly. Imagine planting a healthy seed. If you never water it, it won't grow. The same is true for your mind. If you feed it fear every day, fear will grow. If you feed it hope, hope becomes stronger.
That's a lesson I think everyone needs, especially in today's world.
Before we continue, I want everyone listening to answer one question honestly. What have you been feeding your mind lately? Hope or fear? Encouragement or comparison? Growth or excuses? Don't answer us. Answer yourself. Because your answer may explain why you feel the way you do today.
And don't leave yet, because in the next part, we're going to talk about one simple morning habit that completely changed the way we handle stress, anxiety, and difficult days. It's surprisingly simple. Almost anyone can do it, and it might become your favorite habit after today's conversation. Let's keep going.
Welcome back. If you've been listening from the beginning, thank you for staying with us.
And if you're still here, that tells me something. You're not just learning English, you're investing in yourself, and that's something to be proud of.
Emma, earlier you mentioned a morning habit that changed the way you deal with difficult days. I'm really curious. What is it?
It's surprisingly simple. Before I check my phone, before I open social media, before I read any messages, I spend 5 quiet minutes with myself.
Just 5 minutes?
Yes, only 5. I take a deep breath, I sit quietly, then I ask myself 3 questions.
What are they?
The first question is, what am I grateful for today? Even on bad days, there's always something. Maybe it's my family, maybe it's my health, maybe it's another chance to try again.
Gratitude is powerful. It doesn't erase problems, but it changes what we focus on.
Exactly. The second question is, what is the most important thing I can do today? Not 10 things, not 20 things, just one. Because one completed task creates confidence.
That's true. A small success early in the day often creates momentum for everything that follows.
And the third question is my favorite. How do I want to respond to whatever happens today? Notice I didn't say what will happen today, because we can't control that, but we can control our response.
That's the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is automatic. Responding is intentional.
Exactly. And intentional people usually make wiser decisions.
You know, there was a time when I started every morning by checking my phone. News, emails, messages, social media. Within 10 minutes, my mind was already full of stress.
I think many people can relate to that.
Then, one day, I changed the order. Instead of giving my attention to the world first, I gave attention to my own mind first. That small change made a huge difference.
Sometimes the quality of your morning determines the quality of your entire day.
Absolutely. And here's something fascinating. Researchers often say that our habits shape our future more than our occasional decisions.
That's why small daily routines are so important. One healthy habit may not change your life today, but it can completely transform your life over the next year.
Let me share another story. A young woman once asked an old gardener, "How do your flowers always look so beautiful?" The gardener smiled and replied, "I don't make them grow. I simply give them sunlight, water, and time."
That's beautiful.
The same principle applies to people. Growth cannot be forced, but it can be nurtured. Every encouraging word, every positive habit, every lesson you learn is like watering a plant. Eventually, growth becomes visible.
I love that. Sometimes we become impatient with ourselves. We expect immediate results. But nature teaches us a different lesson. Strong trees don't grow in a single day.
Exactly. Neither does confidence, neither does wisdom, neither does resilience.
Speaking of resilience, do you know what I've learned from almost every successful person I've met?
What's that?
They all failed, many times. The difference is they didn't allow failure to become their identity.
That's such an important distinction. Failure is an event, not a person. You failed at something. That doesn't mean you are a failure.
I wish every young person could hear that sentence, because too many people quit after one disappointment.
Imagine if a baby stopped trying after falling while learning to walk. None of us would ever learn.
That's such a simple example, yet it's so true. Progress always looks messy in the beginning.
Before we continue, I want everyone listening to think about one dream you've almost given up on. Maybe learning English, maybe starting a business, maybe improving your health, maybe repairing a relationship. Don't give up just because progress feels slow. Slow progress is still progress.
And remember this, the person you want to become is created by the choices you make every single day, not once a year, not once a month. every single day.
Stay with us for the final part, because we're about to share the most important lesson of this entire conversation. It's a lesson that has helped thousands of people find hope even during their darkest moments. You won't want to miss it.
If you're still listening, thank you for staying with us until the end.
That already tells us something about you. You're someone who wants to grow, someone who believes that every day is another opportunity to become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little better.
Before we finish, I'd like to ask you one final question. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. What kind of person do you want to become? Not what you want to own, not how much money you want to have. Who do you want to become?
Think about that for a moment, because your future isn't built by one big decision. It's built by hundreds of small decisions you make every single day.
Exactly. One kind word, one healthy habit, one chapter of a book, one English podcast, one workout, one brave decision. These small actions may seem insignificant today, but over time, they create an extraordinary life.
You know, Emma, one of my favorite quotes says, "Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations," and I truly believe that's true.
Me too. Every challenge teaches us something. Every setback makes us stronger. Every failure teaches us a lesson that success never could.
So if you're going through a difficult time right now, please don't lose hope. This chapter is not your entire story.
Remember, the sun doesn't disappear when the sky is full of clouds. It's still there. Sometimes hope is the same. You may not see it today, but it hasn't disappeared.
Keep believing, keep learning, keep moving forward, even if your steps are small, because small steps still move you closer to your dreams.
And one day, you'll look back at this difficult season and realize it didn't break you, it built you.
Before we say goodbye, we have a small favor to ask. If today's conversation helped you improve your English or gave you even a little hope, please take a second to support our channel.
Give this video a like so more English learners can discover it.
Share your thoughts in the comments. We genuinely love to know your answer to today's question. What helps you stay positive during hard times? Your comment might encourage someone else who needs it today.
And if you want to speak English more naturally, understand native conversations, and build confidence step by step, don't forget to subscribe to EnglishVerse and turn on the notification bell.
Every week, we upload real-life English conversations, inspiring podcasts, useful vocabulary, and practical speaking lessons designed to help you become a confident English speaker.
If you enjoyed this episode, we highly recommend watching another podcast on our channel right after this one. The more you listen, the more natural English will become. So don't stop here. Keep learning with us.
Thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. We truly appreciate every single one of you.
Until next time, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and never stop believing in your potential.
No matter how difficult life feels today, remember this one sentence. Hard times don't last forever, but the strength you build during them can last a lifetime.
Take care of yourself. Keep smiling, keep practicing your English, and we'll see you in the next episode of
EnglishVerse. Goodbye, everyone.